Noah also.
Yeah, you got it.
We're good whenever you are.
Oh, brother.
You better be
No
good.
pressure, no pressure.
Okay, I wanted to do this because tomorrow's the eclipse and the next one's 27 years from now, and I don't plan on being here
Yeah.
for that one. What I wanted to do is something that nobody else seemed to point out, that who's talking?
I got you.
They're giving me a hard time, maybe? Is this working at all?
No, you gotta go.
I changed to this
You gotta
camera,
stay
so
on.
Put it on this side.
Pick
if
where you wanna
want.
be
go
so I can pick
stand
the camera.
behind
Yeah,
the
but,
podium.
lay it on top of the podium, that'll be the,
okay.
just brace it up there, that'll be work on the front end.
Well, one of the things that's kind of amazing, do you ever notice the moon and the sun are always the same size, and yet one of them pretty bright and the other one didn't? That's because the sun is 400 times bigger.
It's still,
We'll get it, we'll get
it's
it.
still in order.
The sun is 400 times bigger diameter than the moon right here, and also 400 times further away. And that's why they appear to be the same size. And I showed this to my evangelical friends, who said, you know, that's no coincidence, you know. God works
Recording in
mysterious ways.
progress.
So anyhow, and this is why it appears like that. And then also, and a lot of times you see the moon coming over. I saw it once 45 years ago over the Mississippi River, and it was gigantic. And yet, if you hold your hand up, it's just an optical illusion. It's the same everywhere you look. So I just thought that was pretty remarkable. And then yesterday's paper, for those of you who don't get that, they had the whole thing here on where it's going to be. Like tomorrow, if you want to see the exact path, it's going to be like 92% here, and you can do all the trouble they did. They're going to and travel all over to see it, or you can just take a old piece of tinfoil, something like that, put a little hole in it, make yourself a pinhole camera, go outside, and you can see the eclipse that way. Much.
Looking away from the sun and at the.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. Just make sure nobody did.
Thank you for that clarification.
So let me see if I can get.
You focus it on a piece of paper or something by moving the paper, on the piece with the hole back and forth.
And then do it that way,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just pretty cool. And watch the transit of Mercury that way.
In the old days, 10 years ago, I would use PowerPoint, but I'm going to go back to prior to that. So our sign out front says, the question is the answer. About 40 years ago, we put that sign up. Peter Solis built the sign out there. This is also kind of like the Three Pigs. We put the sign out there. Wind blew it down, so we built another one. Sign number 2, much better one. So the wind didn't blow it down. Then a car ran into it. So this one is sign number 3, practical pig number 3. The car hits that, it's got a problem, so it's going to stay. Now, when we put this thing up, am I on the camera somewhere?
Well, somewhere, we don't know where though.
That's good, that works.
Ugh.
I can't see it.
So where was I? So we went, the whole idea was, we got a whole bunch of stuff from the church, big rollers. Every month we're gonna put a new sign, and I kinda think, we aren't gonna do that. And so, first month went by, we didn't do it, because they had other signs that were pretty cool. And then, of course, that was, never got changed, and then I looked for the rolls of things we bought, and they're long gone. So anyhow, it seemed like a good idea. Now, I think many of us like that, and if you can't see it on the thing there, the question is the answer is our sign, and I think that works for many people. It worked for me when I was 15 years old. I'd been going to church. I was president of the Crusaders Society. It seemed like a horrible thing to do, but anyhow, I was president and tried to do a good job. And I think there was an earthquake in Turkey or somewhere, and the church fell down and killed 300 people. And I said, this makes sense. I was questioning. And I said, if I don't get an answer here pretty soon, I'm out of here. Well, that was 15 years ago. In my mind, I've had much more peace of mind, because it was really bothering the heck out of me that things just didn't work that way. Whereas other people in the world have their religion and they're much happier not questioning. And it works great for them. They have a happy life. One of the problems is when they conflict with somebody else that have different beliefs, that doesn't work so good. But I think that has been our theme for many of us are here. Don't accept everything. And there's my daughter pointed out last week, if it's science, then I believe it. And so, embarrassingly, she brought up last week that Scientific American, they wouldn't lie to you, and they had an article on how you could make a computer with pulleys. Holy cow, that's pretty cool. It had all the instructions how you make this computer. And I advertised that around trying to get some kid to build one once. And then about 20 years later, this guy called me on the phone and said, I remember you talking about it. You know what issue that was? It was the April 1st issue. So I've been that. So I try to be skeptical about everything, but yikes. So let's see. I like to think that some of these things in the back of your mind might change your life and help you make decisions. In the back, you gotta make a quick decision, like I'll never lie or cheat or steal. Well, sometimes you might have to lie and say, well, I don't lie, so I'll just have to get around the truth, but I'm not gonna lie. So I think one of the first one everybody loves, the golden rule. Most religions have some way of saying do unto others as you want them to do unto you, the golden rule. That sounds good. I think a lot of powerful politicians on the male side tend to take advantage of that around women because you do unto them like you like the woman do to you, and then that's not so good. So then I consider the platinum rule, which is do unto others as they want you to do to them. And so then I guess the bottom line was the amalgam rule was you take the gold and platinum together and put them together and then you'll be a perfect person. I had some class in school, college, I don't know what it was, but the professor kept emphasizing there's usually more than two sides to every story. And we spent the whole semester concentrating on that, trying to get the point across. Well, I remember what he said because, frequently you got this or that, red state, blue state. Well, there's more to it than that. So that was a good thing in the back of my mind that was helpful. This comes along with, you wonder how Lucy Boss operates around the church, around the house, and everything out in the field. If you're going from A to B, do something along the way. So usually whatever it was I left out, she's putting away, and I can't find it. But that's a good
Except for texting, please.
This comes from Lucy's mom, and I pretty much do it. If your bedroom's a mess, at least make the bed. And so I do that. I don't have to make it nice, but I at least make it. And then it was a 4-star admiral in the Navy said the same thing. He said, his mom must have told him the same thing. At least make your bed at least once a day, because it starts off a better day. Act your way into a better feeling. The better feeling will come later. So if you're having a crappy day, just pretend yourself things are going well, and then they'll turn out better. Dave Ramsey, I figured this out about the same time he did. Live on less than you make, and pretty soon the money piles up. I find that to be true. I've been very frugal as a little kid. I don't know if it's because I was born due to depression or what, but I never bought any toys or candy or anything, and pretty soon the money piles up. I try to teach that to my kids. Sorry, I'm not sure it worked very well.
At least they all have a computer.
Yeah.
And everything.
And another thing politicians and others might listen to, don't ever email anything that might end up viral, because sometimes you say some things, well, I didn't really mean that, or want the whole world to know. I like this one. You are responsible for your own happiness, not your mother, your father, your wife, your kids. You're responsible for your own happiness. And don't blame sadness on everybody else. My favorite singer, Iris DeMent, her whole song was based around this, nothing good ever lasts, which is, I guess, true. No matter how good you got it, it's probably gonna go away someday. Well, if you cut off in traffic, as soon the driver is about to give birth, so. And I just find it insane that people carry a gun around and, I'm gonna shoot that person. How is that possible? But that's where we're at, so don't do that. Welcome others, including those who are different. We're all pink on the inside. One thing that kind of bothered me, a lot of things going around on bullying that goes on. And don't do that. Well, that makes sense. As a kid, I don't think I ever had that lecture, so I'm sure that a few times that I picked on kids because everybody else was picking on them, and get away with it. It was sort of fun. And then now that I'm nicer, I say that I should have done that. Yeah, I wasn't a real bad one. I wasn't a bully, but I kind of went along rather than stand up. In the case of my daughter, who is, man, don't mess around bullying anybody around her, or you're going to get it. So. Pick carefully the field you're prepared to die on. There's a lot of things that you could go out and start a parade on. I met a guy once who spoke another language and had an accent. And he said he went to buy a ticket once or do something, and the person gave him a real hard time. And he had two choices: to come back at that person, or what I like better is he said, I'm not going to let this complete stranger into my life and upset me, and you can't let them be, that's not a field you want to die on. I did have my, which I've mentioned before, my Rosa Parks moment, where I'm kind of a wimp than usual, but you reach a certain point and say, I just can't do this. In Franklin County, I was selected to be on the grand jury. So I'm in the court, the judge is up there, we all just stand and swear to do our job, so help us God. And I just had to say, sir, what does so help us God have to do with this? And I thought, okay, I'm going straight to prison, but and believe it or not, he apologized and said, well, that's what's required by the state or somebody, and then later the district attorney came up. I thought, okay, I'm going to get it now. And he apologized also. So I didn't change anything, but at least I tried. So. Be careful what you say. It's like bullets. They're hard to put back in the casing once you fire them out there. Back to that guy that didn't want to come unglued with the accent. The borrowers are, Dave Ramsey, the borrower is beholden to the lender. It's best not to get in debt unless you have to. He also agrees that sometimes you have to, but try not to. I'm having trouble with the new guy at the Science Center. I made all these exhibits there, and he's fixing them when they aren't broken, and usually they're prettier when he's done, but then they don't work anymore. I think, like I say this a lot, this too shall pass. A lot of bad things happen in this church over the years. This too shall pass. And I say to myself a lot, because I just keep coming back, and if it passed, and we're on to something else. Every moment in your life is valuable, because we're only here for a short time. I'm pushing that short time to be a little longer, but a lot of times I spend my every moment sleeping because I feel pretty good, but take advantage of all the life we have.
Oh, avalanche.
It's better to prepare and not knock everything down. We gotta go back to the PowerPoint.
Let's hope that's the worst thing that happens to anybody.
It's easier to make decisions when you know your values. For instance, like at the Air Force Academy, that I will not lie, cheat, or steal, and they ain't kidding. There, I mean, you do that and you're out. And but anyhow, if at the back of your mind you get faced with things, you might have to tell a little white lie occasionally. But once you do it, it's so easy to get away with it and say, "Well, I'll do that again. I got away with it." So remember who you wanted to be. I guess I always wanted to be a father and have kids like Father Knows Best and all the TV shows I saw on TV, and they sort of turned out okay. Hope so. Okay. Well, now I've told you everything you needed to know to be perfect people. Thank you very much.
Recording stopped.